boys and girls here, ready to read.
Hi, boys and girls. We are ready for another week of Sunday school. You ready to do open shut them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Open set them, open set them. Give a wild clap. Open set them, give a hard roar.
No, fold them in your lap. Okay? You bow your head and close your eyes and we'll pray. Dear Jesus, thank you for this week that we had, and I just pray that you will give us another nice week like the last. Thank you for the sunshine and the rain that we had, and help it to grow some beautiful flowers. And I just pray that everybody is in good health and has a good week and is listening to their moms and dads. In Jesus' name, amen. Hey, you're not listening to your mommy. You were supposed to be sitting up and listening. Okay? Okay, so Coraline is going to work on the craft as usual. Here you go. While we read the lesson. There you go. Okay? We're going to color this side. So you need to color that side. There you go. All right. So 2 weeks ago, what did we learn about? Do you remember?
Jesus.
Okay, we learned about God. And what did God do?
I don't know.
You don't remember? We learned about all the plagues that God had performed on Egypt to show them his power and to get Pharaoh to let his people go. What about last week? What did God do last week in last week's lesson?
Please don't put me in jail.
No, not that. So last week we learned that God had a pillar of cloud. God built a pillar of cloud to guide Moses and the Hebrews by day, and a pillar of fire to guide them by night, so they knew where to go as they left Egypt. And we also learned that when Pharaoh changed his mind and sent the army after the Hebrews, God had that pillar of cloud move from in front of them to behind the Hebrews so that it blocked the Egyptians from seeing the Hebrews so the Hebrews could get away. But they came up to the Red Sea. And when they came to the Red Sea, they couldn't move anymore. So God told Moses, I'll show you my strength yet again. Stand near the Red Sea, raise your hands up in the air, make sure you have that staff in your hand, and raise your hands up in the air and strike the water with the staff, and I will part the Red Sea. So he parted the Red Sea so that the Hebrews could walk across on dry land and get away from the Egyptians.
Where's dry land?
Dry land, that meant there was no water. That means it took the water and it went whoosh, and moved it aside so that they could walk down the middle on dry land.
And the people went into the water.
Yeah, we're going to learn about that this week. So this week we are reading from Exodus 14 to 15.
And the horses are in water too.
We'll learn all about that. You just listen, okay?
We'll put them down.
Okay, you just listen and we'll learn about it. You gonna glue it down? Here.
Look.
It's okay.
Where are you?
It's okay. They're right there. There you go. The Egyptians were hard on the heels of the Hebrews and without hesitation followed them into the sea along the path that God had made. But God struck them with confusion, so the wheels of the chariots came off. Everywhere there was chaos. He closed the waters together, and the Egyptians were all swept under the water. Of that mighty army, there were no survivors, not one horse, not one soldier. And the people of Israel, safe on the other shore of the Red Sea, were filled with gratitude and relief, and sang and danced in their joy. They knew that their God was both mighty and merciful, and and they praised him greatly. So there it is. There's the Egyptians all in confusion because all their wheels were stuck and falling off, and now walls of the water came crashing down on them and swept them away. Okay. So God continued to show the Hebrews how powerful he was by holding back the water so that the Hebrews could go across safely, then letting the water go, killing all the Egyptians so that the Hebrews could be safe. Now you think that all of this would be enough, and that they'd be like, yes, we fully trust you, we believe, we're not going to complain, we're going to do as you say, because you are in control, you are strong, God. God is in control. But no, they continued to be grumpy. Okay, so now we're going to read from Exodus 15 to 17. Moses led his people into the hot, dry desert for 3 days. They couldn't find a drop of water, and when at last they did, it was too bitter to drink. They forgot what God had done for them and began to complain angrily. God helped Moses to make the water drinkable, but they had to travel onward, and soon they began to complain again. Either we shall die of thirst or of starvation, they wailed. Why did you bring us out of Egypt to die? Once again, God helped his people. In the evenings, quail would come to the camp, and in the mornings the ground would be covered with white flakes that tasted like wafers made with honey, which they called manna. For all the time that they were in the desert, God provided them quail and manna for them. Once when God told Moses to take his staff and strike a rock, the rock flowed with good, clear, fresh drinking water. The people of Israel wandered through the desert for many years, and the Lord gave them food and water.
Just hang on, go down.
It's okay. I'll help you. So there they are there. There's the quail. So the quail are these like little birds here.
Can I see where the quail
And
look like birds?
so that's in the evening. Yes, I'll show you in just a minute. So in the evening, the quail came, and in the morning, there was little flakes all over the ground, and that was called manna. There. See the birds? So they're collecting the quail so they have something to eat. All right. So despite the fact that God had done all this, the Hebrews still complained and doubted his power. So yet again, God had to prove himself to them by providing food and water for them, and not just for a few days either, but for many years. Can you imagine eating the same thing for many years? What if you had to eat, what do you like to eat?
Chicken.
You like chicken? I didn't think you liked chicken.
You say you.
Okay, fine. What if you had to eat chicken over and over and over every single day for years? You get pretty tired of it after a while.
And when I'm a bird, I eat worms.
Birds eat worms, yes. They get tired of having the chicken every single day. They probably got tired of having the quail every single day, but you know what? God provided it for them and they didn't starve. So he provided the quail, which is the type of bird, as we saw there, and manna. And I looked it up, and, well, Derek looked it up for me. So manna is described as like a little grain. So imagine a piece of rice all over the ground. So it's like a little piece of rice all over the ground, and it's white, just like rice. And it tastes like honey. So they were able to grind that up and make a few things with it. But still, they were having manna and quail every day.
And there are people picking up a bird.
Yeah. And when it came to water, I think this is the most amazing part.
And there's a stink.
No, that's a cactus. Anyways, listen. What do you think? If you take a rock, nice big rock, huge rock. It was probably like taller than the people. And God said, "Take your staff and strike that rock." What do you think happened?
I don't know.
Water came out. Water came out of the rock. Water came out of a rock. That's pretty amazing in my mind.
And a turtle kind of like a walk.
What's that?
There's a kind of like a walk.
Turtle's not like a rock. All right, you keep coloring.
Sometimes I got to be like the turtle.
Yes, you were playing the turtle. So yeah, he hit the rock with his staff, just like God said, and water came out so that they could drink. Okay, we're gonna read one more chapter. This one is called the 10 Commandments, Exodus 19 to 20. Okay, keep it down there. Are you gonna color it?
I just want to show up.
Yeah, you can show them when we're all done. Are you gonna color it? Or are you all done?
Almost done.
Okay, well you just listen then, okay? You sit up and listen. So Exodus 19 to 20. Moses led the people to Mount Sinai. There, God spoke to Moses and told him that if the people would honor and obey him, that he would always be with them. The elders agreed to do everything the Lord had told them. Then God told Moses that in 3 days he would appear to them on Mount Sinai. On the morning of the third day there was thunder and lightning, with a thick cloud over the mountain, and a loud trumpet blast. The people trembled and waited at the foot of the mountain. Then God called Moses to the top of it and spoke to him, saying, "I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make any false idols. You shall not misuse my name. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. Honor your father and mother. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not tell lies. You shall not envy anything that belongs to your neighbors." Moses told the people that what God had commanded, and they promised to obey. So in this chapter, I didn't show you the picture. Silly me. There we go. There's Mount Sinai. There's Moses. And he wrote down everything that God said on these 2 little tablets, which aren't like the tablets nowadays. The tablets back then were big pieces of rock. So he had to take probably another rock. I'm not sure what they used.
Mommy, this?
Yeah.
Mommy's
gonna keep talking. He had to take a sharp object and hit it with something kind of like a hammer and put it on the rock. And there's all the people waiting at the bottom. You see that?
And this looks like a hammer. I'm not to do
Be
great.
careful. You see?
Yeah.
All right. So in this chapter, God promised to always be with the Hebrews. As long as they obeyed him,
Are we done yet?
almost sit up and listen. As long as they obeyed him, and they agreed. So, as he was instructed by God, on the morning of the 3rd day, Moses went up to Mount Sinai to meet with God. Sit up, please. But nobody was supposed to see God's face, so he made a big cloud and pillar again so that nobody could see him. And a big voice came booming out, and he said all these things. As he met with God, God gave him the 10 Commandments. He spoke to Moses and said, "These are my commandments." Here, I'll read them once again, and I'll explain some of them to you, because some of them are big words. "You shall have no other gods before me." That means don't put anything before God. Don't put money, don't put toys, don't put any other god. So a god could be money, a god could be toys, or a god could be a little statue. So don't have any other gods. it says you shall not make false idols. That means don't have a statue. Don't worship a little statue, because what's the statue going to do? It can't talk back. You shall not misuse my name. So don't say bad things using God's name. Remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. The Sabbath was the day of rest for the Hebrews. For them, it was the seventh day. So they weren't allowed to do anything.
God can move.
Yes, he can. God can go anywhere. God is everywhere.
God can move there.
Yeah.
The Bible.
Oh, that's Moses. Anyways, so the Sabbath was the seventh day for the Hebrews. So remember the Sabbath and keep it holy. They were supposed to rest on the Sabbath. They weren't supposed to work. Honor your father and mother. Do you honor your father and mother?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes. Do you obey us all the time?
Mm-hmm.
No.
I obeyed yesterday. And
Yeah, you obeyed yesterday.
And I did obey yesterday.
You obeyed yesterday, but not the day before. But you try, and that's what's important.
I obeyed like what my papa said.
Yes, you did. You shall not murder. Don't kill anybody. You shall not commit adultery. Now, that's a little bit of a harder word, so you might have to ask your mums and dads to explain that one for you. But it's for the mums and dads. Don't commit adultery. Don't. If you marry someone, don't change your mind and go with someone else. You shall not steal. Don't take things that don't belong to you. Don't tell lies. Well, that one we all know. That one's hard for all of us to obey sometimes.
Yesterday.
Sometimes we do tell lies, but we have to remember to try our best not to. You shall not envy anything that belongs to your neighbor. That means if your friend has a toy, don't go, oh, I want that toy. I want that toy. That's envy. Envy is wanting something that someone else has. So don't envy anything that belongs to your neighbor. Now, we're not perfect. I know I'm not. And from time to time, we will break some of these rules. Sit on your bottom, please. Hey, listen. No, you can't sit. Okay. You need to sit down on your bottom and listen, please. We're almost done. You can show them your craft in a minute. Yeah. Okay. Oh, we missed a part. I said here in my paper, as he met with God, God gave him the 10 commandments that the Hebrews were to follow, and we are to still follow them to today. So we are not perfect, and from time to time we'll break some of these rules, but when we do, we are to ask God's forgiveness and to try even harder to obey his laws. I'm not perfect. I know for a fact that growing up, I didn't listen to my mom and dad. Not all the time. But when I didn't, I had to go to them and say, I'm sorry, I wasn't listening, and ask for forgiveness. And telling lies, well, I think we all tell some lies. I know sometimes people call them, it was just a fib.
Mommy.
Well, a fib is a lie.
Mommy,
Yes, honey.
why are you talking like that?
Talking like what?
Telling lies?
I'm not telling lies. I'm saying don't tell lies. We need to try our best not to tell lies. Now, sometimes we slip up and we make mistakes, but we have to ask God's forgiveness.
Say, Mommy. Yes,
We need to ask God's forgiveness and say, I'm sorry. And we need to go to the person that we did wrong to.
telling lies.
Coraline, listen. We need to go to the person that we wronged and say, I am sorry. I did this wrong. And try and do better next time. All right, you want to show them your craft?
It's right.
Is it dry? Okay, so what we've done is we traced Coraline's hands and I wrote the 10 commandments, one on each finger, because she has 10 fingers, and put them on something that we think looks like the tablet from back then, but we don't actually know for sure what it looks like. And then Coraline colored it, which you can't really see because she colored in white and yellow, but that's okay. And then we glued it down. So that was our craft for today. Pretty simple, pretty easy. and yet still fun. All right?
We're done.
Yes, we are. You gonna say goodbye now?
Bye bye.
Be nice. So goodbye, boys and girls, and once again, listen and obey your parents, and have a wonderful week. And we will be back here again next week. We'll see what we learn next week. I'm not sure what we're gonna do next week. We'll find out. You gonna say goodbye?
Goodbye.
All right. Goodbye, boys and girls. Are you gonna hang up or shall I? Be very careful. Goodbye. Have a good week.